are some of the profound differences between technologies developed for habitation versus technologies developed for forays.
The technology for forays relies on typically one-of-a-kind systems, more or less self-contained, always designed to launch, go somewhere, and come back as soon as possible, all with the same set of hardware. Whereas habitation would rely on relatively cheaper, more specialized subsystems within an in-space infrastructure. For example, in the habitation paradigm, why couldn't you just have dedicated launch vehicles that do nothing but deliver people to infrastructure, to habitats, to orbits, or to way stations, okay? To return, you have a garage, shall we say, of specialized return vehicles, okay? Knowing that you don't have to immediately return everything you send out of the Earth's gravity, right? That doesn't mean you maroon people in outer space, but you have these specialized subsystems that are much cheaper than what we have now. I mean, what if you had? Why couldn't you design upper stages for these specialized launch vehicles that are entirely reusable, that are made in a sort of Lego fashion, that could actually be used to further build up the infrastructure in space? You don't return it. In essence, you would make the upper stage 100% payload. Okay, and that reduces the cost. You know, you get away from the one-of-a-kind systems. Now, of course, launch vehicles are somewhat standardized, but the history of forays always produces kind of one-of-a-kind vehicles that are always designed to return something. Whatever you put up there, you have to return. So that's the key. I think the key word, infrastructure. In-space infrastructure is the way to go for habitation, and it's ignored if you're interested in forays.
What game-changing inventions have you encountered that can change the paradigm from foraying to habitation? The real answer is agriculture. The first people on the moon have to be farmers. We cannot take and afford to ship everything up to them. We can grow stuff in lunar soil. However, let me give you some more, conventional answers. You have a rocket, it gets 450 seconds of specific impulse. Now, specific impulse, cool name. It means that 1 unit of fuel can hold up the mass of the fuel for 450 seconds. It's a measure of how good it is. And that's the very best you can get with chemical fuel, unless you use triple fluorine or something weird like that. All you have to do to make it to 900 seconds is put a heat exchange on the side of the rocket and irradiate the side of the rocket with a powerful X-band radar. You heat the fuel before it goes into the engine. It's pre-warmed, doesn't take as much energy, and whammo, okay? This is doable today with current technology, and there are people trying to do it. That'll double the payload fraction you can get to orbit like that. The second thing is make it all reusable. Don't throw anything away. Another game-changing invention. Build your rockets out of plastic, fuel them with gel candles, and now this sounds weird, but what you do is you use commodity fuels and you build them in a shipyard instead of an aerospace factory. I've talked to Litton Industries in Pascagoula, Mississippi. They build destroyers for the U.S. Navy. I've said, how much will you charge me to build this? They said $1.5 million, and will come down to $1 million if you order more than 100 of them. The biggest problem right now is the accumulation of capital. The biggest invention is how do you take and understand the risks, insure them, and accumulate enough capital to take and do the job. I made a study of innovation because it's a hobby of mine. You can't predict it. The telegraph was actually invented in Italy, and a scientist used it as a buzzer to summon his assistants, but never ever thought of it ever having a commercial utility. So the answer may already exist and we may just have to adapt it, or it may be something totally out of left field that's unpredictable. The one thing certain, we're going into space. The great industries, the great adventures of our new century are in space. They're not here on the Earth.